Yes guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today welcome to game week 2 of the UEFA Champions League predictions. Obviously there are some big games this week. Today I'm rocking the Borussia Dortmund top, who play tonight against Sporting Club de Portugal. So obviously good luck to Dortmund in that fixture. I think it's tonight. Yeah, it is. Yeah, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. So let's get into the Champions League predictions. Alright then, so the first game is PSG versus Manchester City. Now this is going to be one of the games of the week in the UEFA Champions League. This is going to be an absolutely blockbuster game at the Parc des Princes this evening. And obviously I am going to be streaming on Twitch. Soccer Special, be there. 7:30, me, Cody and Harry, be there. And to be honest, obviously Cody will be watching this game. Actually, no, he's a Man City fan, so yeah. And to be honest, I can see this being an absolutely brilliant game. And it's going to be a really good game. You got like Mbappe, De Bruyne. There's so many good players on the pitch. But I think this is one advantage for Manchester City. The question is Lionel Messi going to even start? Because I know he did return to PSG training the other day. But the question is though, is he going to start against his former coach, Pep Guardiola? Let's talk about Manchester City then quickly. Obviously they got a huge 1-0 win over Chelsea in the Premier League on the weekend. That was a massive result for Manchester City in that game. Obviously, looking at PSG going into this game, they have 3 wins, scoring 6 goals and conceding 2. So both teams on form-wise doing well, but I think it's the fitness and the injuries and the suspensions for PSG that are letting them down. No Di Maria tonight, no Bernat. And to be honest, Manchester City, in my opinion, some of the City fans are feeling quite nervous tonight. If I was a City fan, I would be feeling quite confident in my opinion. I'm just going to get straight into it. Paris Saint-Germain 1, Manchester City 2. 2-1 to Manchester City. Alright then, now we move on to RB Leipzig versus Club Brugge. Now this is going to be quite a decent game. And to be honest, if you're a Bruges fan, I think you should be confident going into this game tonight. Obviously, Club Brugge drew 1-1 with PSG in the opening game week of the Champions League. And that's a brilliant result for Club Brugge, playing against Mbappe, Messi and Neymar. And Club Brugge draw 1-1. Brilliant result. And to be honest, I think they could get a good result tonight as well in Leipzig. Because Leipzig at the moment are struggling. They won 6-0 on the weekend though against Hertha Berlin. But before that game, their form was not great. Obviously, I think in the Bundesliga, I don't know what is going on at Leipzig. Is it the departure of Nagelsmann and Upamecano and Sabitzer? I don't know. But it has gone downhill for RB Leipzig recently. And to be honest, if you're a fan of Club Brugge, I think you should feel very confident going into this game. And because I just think looking the way Bruges are coming into this game, I think they are just doing really well on form. And I'm just going to get into it again. RB Leipzig 1, Club Brugge 2. 2-1 to Club Brugge. Alright then, now we move on to the group of death in the Champions League. And tonight in Porto, it's FC Porto versus Liverpool. Now, let's talk about the visitors, Liverpool, who are travelling to Portugal this evening to take on FC Porto in a huge Champions League game in Porto this evening. Liverpool obviously drawing 3-3 with newly promoted Brentford on Saturday. Now obviously that was 2 points dropped for Liverpool. And obviously they've got 2 big games coming up. They've got the game tonight against Porto. And then on Sunday they take on Manchester City at Anfield in a huge Premier League game for Liverpool. And tonight, they need to win this game because if they lose this game and Man City win tonight in Paris, Liverpool are going to struggle, in my opinion. And they need to put out. Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool need to put out a good team that will just get the job done tonight, and then they can focus on that big game on Sunday against Manchester City. But to be honest, looking at FC Porto, a 0-0 draw in match day 1 of the Champions League against Atletico Madrid is a very good result. I think Porto's last 2 games have been 1-0 and 1-0. 2 goals, conceded none. It's not really the best as 1-0. But to be honest, don't write off Porto because they are a good team. And fun fact, Liverpool have never lost to Porto. Liverpool have a 100% record against Porto. So to be honest, Porto will 100% want to win this game this evening. And to be honest, any Liverpool fans, especially Elliot and JFFC, you are probably going to go absolutely crazy. I have gone FC Porto 2, Liverpool 1. I'm sorry, but I think Liverpool are going to struggle this evening. And for me, it's for defence. Because against Milan, defensively, Liverpool weren't good. And Porto are a good team. They've got a very good attack. 2-1 to Porto. Alright then, now we move on to AC Milan versus Atletico Madrid. Now this is going to be a very, very good game to watch, because obviously, to be honest, it's a very big night for the fans of AC Milan, because they've been waiting so long for a Champions League fixture at the San Siro, and tonight it's finally came. It's a massive night for AC Milan, and what a game it is against Atletico Madrid, the champions of Spain. And to be honest, Atletico Madrid, they have not been on good form recently, and their last league game was a 1-0 loss away at Deportivo Alaves. That is not a very good result for Atletico Madrid, and they'll be knowing that this is going to be a hard game tonight, because Milan are a very good side. Milan obviously kicked off the Champions League campaign with a 3-2 defeat to Liverpool, but to be honest, one player to look out for, I think it's got to be that man, Brahim Diaz. He was very good against Liverpool, and also I think the other guy who scored, what's his face? I can't remember. But I think Brahim Diaz, he will want to show up tonight. And obviously Atletico Madrid, I just can't see them. I cannot see them winning this game. I think they'll draw though. Both teams are going to drop off 2 points. And I think it's going to be a draw. AC Milan 1, Atletico Madrid 1. Alright then, now we move on to Ajax versus Besiktas. Now obviously looking at Ajax coming into this game, they are doing very well. They kicked off their Champions League campaign with a 5-1 win against Sporting Lisbon. Ajax, that's a very good result. For Besiktas though, they did lose to Borussia Dortmund, and we'll talk about Dortmund in a minute. But Besiktas though, going to Ajax away is a very hard place to go. I've experienced it with Tottenham, and to be honest, that game was the best day of my life, or the second best day of my life, in my opinion. But Ajax away is a very hard place to go. And I think Sebastian Haller, I think Besiktas are going to struggle to keep him out. I think again, he's going to have another brace. 2 goals for Haller, 1 goal for Tadic, 3-0 to Ajax. Alright then, now we move on to Borussia Dortmund versus Sporting Lisbon. Now, I'm sorry Sporting, but Dortmund away is a very hard place to go. To go to Signal Iduna Park and play Borussia Dortmund in front of the Dortmund fans. Sporting, they're going to struggle tonight, because that Dortmund roar will encourage those Borussia Dortmund players. And two Dortmund players who have really impressed me recently are Jude Bellingham and Erling Haaland. I think especially Jude Bellingham, because obviously he played for Birmingham City, and now he's gone from Birmingham City to Borussia Dortmund, one of the best clubs in German football. And to be honest, he's just done really well in my opinion so far. And I think one player to keep an eye on for Sporting Lisbon is Paulinho. He scored against Ajax. He got a rating of 7.5 against Ajax. And to be honest, he's going to be maybe quite difficult to keep out, but I think this is going to be a good game. I think Sporting will want to turn up. They'll want to win this game. I think they're going to score 2 Sporting, but I think it's going to be a brace for Erling Haaland. 2 goals for Haaland, 1 goal for Jude Bellingham. It's going to be Borussia Dortmund 3, Sporting 2. 3-2 to Borussia Dortmund. Alright then, now we move on to Shakhtar Donetsk versus Inter Milan. Now Shakhtar, terrible start in the Champions League, 2-0 loss to Sheriff. They will want to win this game tonight, but it's going to be difficult against the Inter Milan team. Obviously, Inter Milan did lose to Real Madrid. Obviously, it's Real Madrid. And obviously, they did concede in like the 90th minute. So, yeah, quite unlucky there in that one. But to be honest, it will be a very difficult game for Shakhtar this evening. After losing to the first ever Moldovan club to play in this competition, Shakhtar want to bounce back. And it is going to be very difficult against the Inter Milan side. And on Inter, they were unlucky against Real Madrid. But I think Inter are going to win their first game in the Champions League. I'm sorry, Shakhtar. Shakhtar 0, Inter 2. 2-0 to Inter. Alright then, now we move on to Real Madrid versus Sheriff Tiraspol. Now a brilliant opening day in the UEFA Champions League for New Boys Sheriff. A 2-0 victory at home against Shakhtar Donetsk. A brilliant result for the New Boys. But Sheriff are playing Real Madrid, who have lifted the Champions League trophy 13 times. 13. And plus it's at the Bernabeu. So this is going to be a very difficult game for Sheriff. I think looking at Real going into this game this evening, if we just have a look now, looking at Real Madrid, they're doing all right, obviously. They drew 0-0 with Villarreal on the weekend, but obviously they're looking at their form, and they got the last time they lost was a pre-season game against Rangers. Ever since then, Real haven't lost. But to be honest, Sheriff, looking at them going into this game, they're doing quite well as well. They won 4-0 and 7-0. They've scored 11 goals in 2 games. That is brilliant for FC Sheriff. And you could say they feel a bit confident. Well, I wouldn't say confident, but maybe they might get a goal, maybe. But to be fair, I think they will get a goal because they're doing really well, Sheriff. But I think they are going to lose. I don't think Real are going to batter them, but I think Real will win this game. Real Madrid 2, Sheriff 1. Alright then, now we move on to the first game on Wednesday, and it is Bayern Munich versus Dynamo Kiev. Now Dynamo Kiev with a 0-0 draw against Benfica, but this is going to be a very difficult test for Dynamo Kiev. Going to Bayern Munich away is a very hard place to go. Bayern are, they literally are just too good at home. And obviously Bayern Munich, look at this. They won 3-1, 7-0, 3-0, 4-1, 5-0, 12-0. They're just incredible. 3 goals, 7 goals, 3 goals again, 4 goals, 5 goals, 12 goals. They just love to score goals. It is just incredible. And Bayern Munich with a brilliant opening Champions League game against Barcelona. And in my opinion, Dynamo Kiev, you are going to get absolutely battered. I'm sorry. Bayern Munich 5, Dynamo Kiev 0. It's going to be a battering for Dynamo Kiev tomorrow. 5-0 to Bayern. Alright then, now we move on to quite a decent game. It's Benfica versus Barcelona. Now looking at Benfica, they drew 0-0 Benfica with they drew 0-0 with Dynamo Kiev. But looking at them going into this game, they won 3-1 against Boavista and 3-1 against Victoria de Gamari, blah blah blah, I can't pronounce it. So 6 goals in 2 games, 2 goals conceded. Quite decent from Benfica because they haven't lost. They are yet to lose a game this season. And they are yet to lose again. They didn't lose in pre-season, but will we see a first defeat for Benfica of the 21-22 season against Barcelona? Because Barcelona, looking at them, Benfica could actually win this game. Obviously, I know Barcelona won 3-0 against Levante, but obviously looking at their form in the last 6 games, a win, draw, loss, win. Win, draw, loss, win, draw. It's not the best for Barcelona, but if we look at the 3-0 win against Levante, one player who did very well was Memphis Depay. And he got a hat-trick. He scored 1 goal, but got a goal rating of 9.2. He must have had a very good game against Levante. But to be honest, it looks like pretty much the whole Barcelona team did quite decent. And it looks like a player called Sergio Dest, 20 years old, American international. Looks like he did well for Barcelona in their 3-0 win over Levante. Looking at Benfica, let's have a look at their last game, which was a 3-1 win against a team I can't pronounce. And one player who did very well, Roman Yarmolenchuk. He did quite well in that game. Another player who did well, Rafa Silva, 26-year-old Portuguese international. This is going to be a good game to look out for, in my opinion. But to be honest, it's going to be a very close game. I think Barcelona are just going to nick it. Benfica 1, Barcelona 2. 2-1 to Barcelona. Alright then, now we move on to Atalanta versus Young Boys. Now, what's a brilliant result for Young Boys against Manchester United? Brilliant result for them. And I watched Atalanta's first game against Villarreal. And one player who did quite well for me was Duvan Zapata. Also, Zappacosta, he did quite well as well. And obviously this is Atalanta's first home game, and the Young Boys, are Atalanta going to win? Because Young Boys, they beat Man United, which is a very good result, but obviously that was at home, but this is an away game, away in Italy at Atalanta. It's going to be a very difficult game, and I want to see, will Zappacosta do well again? I don't know. But I'm just going to go straight into this. Atalanta 2, Young Boys 1. 2-1 to Atalanta. Alright then, now we move on to a repeat of the Europa League final. It's Manchester United versus Villarreal. This is at Old Trafford though. For Man United recently though, it's not doing too great. Obviously a Champions League defeat to Young Boys, crashing out of the Carabao Cup and losing 1-0 to Aston Villa. It is not going well for Manchester United recently. And tomorrow night against Villarreal is going to be a very, very challenging game. Because looking at Villarreal, they're doing very well. They haven't lost in the last 4 games. The last time they lost was a friendly against Braga. So Villarreal unbeaten in the last 4. Can Manchester United beat Villarreal? Can they get revenge on Villarreal after that Europa League final in Poland, I think it was? Obviously, because Villarreal after this, they got Real Betis, and that would be quite a good game to watch, Villarreal, Real Betis. But to be honest, United, what is going on? That United have to get back to winning ways, but I think it's going to be difficult. It's at Old Trafford though, so they could win. But for me, I'm going to sit on the fence and go Manchester United 1, Villarreal 1, 1 apiece. Alright then, now we move on to RB Salzburg against Lille. Now looking at Salzburg, obviously they actually seem to do quite well at home. Obviously Salzburg kicked off the Champions League with a 1-0 draw at Sevilla. That's a brilliant result. And again, Salzburg, they like to score goals at home. If we look at their last few games at home, 2-0 and 8-0. 10 goals in the last 2 games at home. They love to score goals at home. But looking at Lille away though, obviously Lille, their last game was a 2-1 win over Strasbourg. But I did actually watch Lille's, sorry, that's the wrong team. But Lille, they won 2-1 in their most recent game against Strasbourg. And one player who did very well was Jonathan David. Jonathan David didn't play against Wolfsburg, but he is back. And that's massive for Lille. Another player who did quite well was Timothy Way, I don't know. 21 years old, very good performance. This is going to be quite a decent game to look out for. But I think I am going to back Lille. Salzburg normally do well at home, but I think they are going to lose this game. Salzburg 1, Lille 2. Alright, then now we move on to Wolfsburg versus Sevilla. Now this is going to be quite a decent game because Sevilla, looking at them, they drew 1-0 with Salzburg. But looking at Wolfsburg though, they've dropped off a bit, haven't they? They drew 0-0 with Lille, 1-0 with Frankfurt, and they lost 3-1 to Hoffenheim. I'm looking at the moment, Wolfsburg have gone from first and they slipped down 2 places into third. It's not gone too well for Wolfsburg recently. But looking at Sevilla, their last game was a 2-0 win over Espanyol. And one player who did very well for Sevilla, it's got to be Jesus Navas, the 35-year-old who did quite well against Espanyol. Another player who did very well is the name of Youssef En-Nesyri, 24 years old, Moroccan international. He did very well in Sevilla's 2-0 win over Espanyol. Pretty much the whole team did quite well, but Thomas Delaney got sent off. But yeah, it looks like pretty much most of the Sevilla team did very well in a 2-0 win over Espanyol. But this will be quite a difficult game to look out for because I think Fogden and Fogdad streamed the Sevilla game. I'm not sure. I think they did. I can't remember. But I think it will be quite difficult going to Wolfsburg. Obviously, I think recently form for Wolfsburg hasn't been on their side. And I think Sevilla are going to come out winners. It's going to be close. 2-1 Sevilla. Alright, then now we move on to the second to last game. And that is Zenit St. Petersburg versus Malmo at the Gazprom Arena. Now, looking at Malmo going into this game, they're doing very well. They've scored 6 goals in the last 2 games and conceding 1. Very good form for Malmo. Obviously, Malmo are unbeaten in the last 3 games. But looking at Zenit St. Petersburg going into this game, they have scored 5 goals and conceded 2. This is going to be a bit of a close game. And obviously, Zenit, I know they did lose 1-0 to Chelsea, but what I heard, Zenit apparently were the better team. And to be honest, I think one mistake was putting Artem Zuba on the bench. That was a silly mistake. And looks like another player did quite well against Chelsea was midfielder Claudinho, 24 years old. And Malcolm as well. He got a rating of 6 against Chelsea. So I think this will be quite a decent game. But I think Zenit, they seem to do quite well at home. I think Zenit are going to win this game. It's going to be very close though. I think Zenit are going to come out winners. Zenit 2, Malmo 1. 2-1 to the Russian Premier League winners. Champions. But yeah. Okay, so we now move on to the last game, which is Juventus. Juventus against Chelsea. Chelsea suffering a 1-0 defeat to Manchester City. Juventus, and let's have a look now. Juventus winning 3-2 against Sampdoria. Juventus are unbeaten in the last 4 games. And Juventus are starting to pick up some form. But big up to Cody, who did watch Juventus' 1-0 draw with AC Milan. I'm looking at what I'm seeing now. Looks like one player who did quite well was Paulo Dybala, the 27-year-old. Looking at his stats now, did quite decent. Another player who did quite well was Alexandro. I think he did quite decent against Malmo, and it looks like he did well against Milan as well. But if we look at Juventus' 3-2 win over Sampdoria, one player who did very well was Manuel Locatelli, new signing from Sassuolo. He did quite well against Sampdoria. But to be honest, this is going to be a very difficult game for Juventus. They're playing the Champions League winners. They're playing Chelsea. But one big loss for Chelsea is N'Golo Kante. He has tested positive for coronavirus. That is a massive loss for Chelsea. But looking at the predicted lineup, it looks quite strong from Chelsea. Obviously, Kante can't play because he's got COVID. Who is going to replace Kante? Who is going to come in to replace Kante? We don't know. We'll have to find out. But it is going to be quite a decent game. And we're going to see Lukaku against Bonucci and Chiellini. This is going to be quite a decent game to look out for. Will Lukaku score in Turin? Who knows? But I think Chelsea are going to win this game. Very close game. Juventus 1, Chelsea 2. 2-1 to the European champions, Chelsea. Alright then, so that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I do apologise if it is out a bit late whilst the games are going on. Good luck to Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester United. Good luck to all the teams in the Champions League. And I'll see you in the next video, which is Tottenham Mura preview. So in a bit.